Welcome back to the lab. Well past 8 o'clock. Yeah, even my liar on the wall there says well past 8 o'clock. Finished up quite early today, to be honest. I got the lawns mowed and a few branches out of the way on the back lawn, so I could mow the lawns. Abby the Marina here, she just didn't want to play nicely today. Either that or I was just in the wrong frame of mind or something, and the two of us just didn't get along. It was one of those days in the workshop where everything you touch, it just didn't want to play ball. So I got the front foot boxes onto the front laterals. That's done. They're beautiful. There's nothing wrong with those. Just like that. Magic. They're actually tidily welded on there. No problems with those at all. That was all good. And I was thinking, this is good progress today. We'll get those 4 footing boxes done, and we'll get the backstays in the car, and that'll be the cage actually done, except for a couple of little gussets that are going into the door bars. And no. Got to the back to do the back footing boxes and brain fade. Just couldn't get my head around how I was going to get those done nicely and be happy with them. Literally a couple of hours looking at the car, different ideas running through my head, and probably, obviously overthought it and just actually didn't get anywhere with it. It all ground to a halt. I did start on a different direction to what I had intended originally, and kind of got to the point where I wasn't sure whether that was satisfactory. So put aside, mowed the lawns, did some other things. Now it's 8 o'clock, and I'm not satisfied with the amount of progress out here in the workshop today, so I'm out here doing quiet things so I don't upset everybody. I've organized some things off the back of the car here. Obviously there's one of those missing. That's on the bench way over there. Way over there. There it is. And it's next to the scales, see? So I've been doing some of that. Oh, now we can't zoom back. There we go. So we've been weighing a few things, and I weighed this as well. This is not terrible. Okay, for what that does and the strength of that component. If anyone knows who Bradley Haynes is from Savage Performance and Spears, the pair of us, we stood on one of these, an earlier version, not even as strong as this one, straddled between 2 sawhorses right at the very tips, which is not a load that it would normally experience. One sawhorse there, one sawhorse there, and one Bradley here and one Glen here, and we were jumping up and down on that thing. We were over there at the end of the workshop there, holding on to those beams in the roof just in case it failed. We want to be on the floor and hurry. It didn't. When we'd finished with it, I was intending to break it actually, and it just didn't break. When we were finished with it, it could still have gone on the car and been perfectly usable. So to do a carbon fiber version, yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be more aerodynamic. It's not going to have rivets on it. It's not going to have a lap joint under here that's going to disrupt airflow, and it's probably going to have better brackets and won't necessarily need a gurney strip on it and all that. There'll be many improvements. I don't think you'd get a lot of weight out of it to have the same sort of strength. Maybe half that weight. So 3 kgs, and you're probably going to spend $1,500 on a wing. So $500 a kg. I don't know if I really want to be spending that. Although, if you count my time on some other things that we did earlier on, absolutely we spent that. The same thing, sort of thing with the splitter. I weighed that. That's 7.9 kgs for that whole splitter arrangement, which is pretty heavy. Look at those legs. Ugh, don't look at those legs. Carbon fiber version of that, or equivalent, yes, will be lighter. But the money involved, and the first thing that's going to happen is I'm going to crash it into the ramps on the trailer or something. So I'm not really sure where we're going with that. These things here, they're 1.36 kgs, that says. So 2.7 kgs for a pair of those. Now, these are bomb proof. They're way stronger than what they need to be. So we can probably take quite a lot of weight out of these. Just potentially just mill this off through here. Do away with that. It's got to be a couple 100 grams in that surely. On each side, 400 grams, nearly half a kg. Beyond that, you're going to start compromising its strength, or redesign this whole thing completely differently using rods instead of a bridge and stays. Who knows? Bonnet is 7.5 kgs, but we would use 6 meters of carbon fiber material at $100 a meter, plus some other bits and bobs. Probably tip in $800 into that, and you'd get it down to 2.5, 3 kgs. $800 to save 5 kgs. Yeah, again, is it worth it? Front bumper's actually pretty light, 4.3 kgs. That's not bad. So that prototype is probably going to tidy up and go on the car. And then I hope I just try and avoid banging into anything with the front of it, because we won't have a prototype anymore if I damage it too badly. But that's where we're at. If you're watching Facebook, if you're on Facebook at all, I have posted our ECU, our Link G4 Plus Extreme 350Z plug-in ECU. That's up for sale if anyone wants one of those. 1,500 New Zealand dollars, which is very, very cheap. I want to upgrade, as I talked about earlier on, to the G4X Extreme wire-in ECU, and we can tidy up this big mess. This here's got nothing to do with it. Everything in that direction just needs finishing off. This here is quite tricky to deal with without the right terminals. Slightly time consuming, but not correct way to do it really would be to cut and resplice all those, resolder them all. I don't know how many wires I hooked up to there. There must be 50, I guess, something like that. And no, probably less than 50. But anyway, you shouldn't really splice wires if you can avoid it. And so tidying up that slightly aesthetically unpleasing mess there with splices and stuff, and then just introduce problems in the car with the splices. So let's do it properly. Let's go to a G4X, and then we get lots of features. It's all basically what it boils down to is heaps more memory for logging everything, lots and lots of logging, so we can store all the stuff to do with our shift cut knob and log the clutch pedal and the brake pedal and all sorts of things, and everything goes faster, so we can have more better things with sensors, wheel speed sensors and things like that. At the moment on the back here, love that noise, don't you? That wheel speed sensor has just got 2 teeth on it, because if we had the original 36 teeth on it, it was too fast, too high a frequency for the ECU to read it. So once we got up beyond whatever it is, 180 k's an hour or something like that, it was too high a frequency, it couldn't read it anymore. But the Extreme G4X, we can put the original tone wheel back on there with a higher resolution, so it'll read better at lower speeds, very low speeds, and it won't have any problems with it at higher speed. It'll be good. It's looking very pretty in there, isn't it? You think I should mount that fuel pressure regulator soon? I think I should do that. So, as it stands, we're waiting for a box to come to New Zealand with my shift cut knob from HGT, and then we'll get that in there. Then, essentially at that point, once that's installed, we are ready for the dyno. However, I do think we will upgrade the ECU, and that's obviously better to do before we go on the dyno to make sure it's all set up properly and everything. I'm not entirely certain about transferring the file across. I will have to talk to some gurus about that. I'm assuming that can be done. It would be the smart thing to do. I'll check with Link and make sure you can take your file from your G4 Plus and put it into your G4X. I think that's probably does happen, but obviously you've got to check all your settings and everything. once that's done, and best to put it on dyno and make sure it's right. So we're there with that stuff. I'll keep fiddling. I'll try and get something done tomorrow that's good viewing, and maybe have a Sunday off. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers, bye.